Hey lambs, I'm back for another Ky Rants segment. Don't forget that Ky Rants is sponsored by my lamb Patreon, www.patreon.com/love and murder if you want to support love and murder. So this episode it's all types of crazy. So the headline reads, Father finds 11-year-old daughter strangled to death under bed. Let's get into it. On Saturday, August 12, 2023, at an apartment complex at 1004 Main Street in Pasadena, Texas, Carmelo Gonzales, 32, left for work at about 10 a.m. and had been in communication with his daughter, Maria Gonzales, over the phone, who he left at home while he went to work. So she's basically home alone, which, no judgment, she's 11. He left her alone. He's communicating with her. He has to go to work. Doesn't mean he could afford a babysitter. Not judging. It's not like she's 2. So, shortly after he left, he received a message from Maria saying that somebody was knocking on the front door. So he told his daughter, don't answer the door. And she said that she wouldn't. And she's just going to go ahead and stay in her bed. And that is the last time he heard from her. Quote, I kept calling and she wouldn't answer. On his lunch break at around 1 p.m., wait a second. So that was 10 at 1? I'm sorry. I'm not shaming this father. I swear on everything I'm not. All I'm doing is talking about what I would do. But between 10 and 1, if my child is at home alone and I'm not getting any answer from her, I'm either sending somebody who can go literally right now, or I'm telling my job, hey, I have an emergency. Either I'll be back or just whatever, but I'm leaving to go check on my child. That's just me personally. I'm kind of a crazy parent, so I don't know. Maybe y'all would do something different, but this is me. So anyways, on his lunch break at around 1 p.m., Carmelo asked his brother and his sister-in-law, who also lived in the same apartment complex, to check on his daughter. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it should have been like at 10 a.m. Hey, go check on Maria because somebody's knocking on that door. Or drop her off at their house or tell her to take her with you. Like, okay. Anyways, and I'm telling you, I'm not shaming this father. He's been through too much. He's probably blaming himself every single day. So don't think I'm shaming him or blaming him. I'm just talking. This is a rant here. So don't come for me. Don't want to hear it. So they went over to the apartment and they found the door unlocked. And they went inside. They found that things were like disheveled and not in place. And they looked around for Maria, but they couldn't find her. So then they began looking around the apartment complex, still couldn't find her. So when Carmelo got home at around 3 p.m., he searched his apartment and found his daughter underneath her bed. Her body was wrapped in trash bags and had been placed inside a laundry basket. I couldn't even imagine the pain. Can't even imagine it. Anyways, he called police and told them that his daughter wasn't breathing, and the Pasadena Police Department arrived at around 3:07 p.m. Then when paramedics arrived, they pronounced the girl dead. During the investigation, they said Maria had been strangled to death. I can't imagine. Poor guy. Pasadena Police Chief Josh Brugger said that the girl had also been sexually assaulted. During the investigation, police said there was no forced entry into the home. So did she let him in or did he pick the lock? I hope she didn't let him in. Maybe she was scared of him knocking, or he said something like, hey, this is your uncle or something. And there's a reason she let him in. But then why didn't she call her father before she let him in to let him know that, hey, they said Uncle Jimmy is outside or something like that? I don't know. Initially, investigators didn't have a suspect, and Carmelo was not considered to be one because his alibi checked out. Quote, we have gathered numerous amounts of evidence, which we will process and will ultimately help us to rule out any suspects. To protect the integrity of the investigation, we are not releasing specifics on evidence obtained at this time. Now, Maria and her father had been living in the U.S. for about 4 years after immigrating from Guatemala. They had been living in the apartment for about 3 months, and before that, they lived in Austin and Florida. The girl's mother, and he has another daughter, which is a 7-year-old, lives in Guatemala right now. So they're still not here. Oh, can you imagine having to call her and she hearing that information? This poor family. So this particular apartment complex has a large Guatemalan population, and investigators did go around taking DNA samples, but it was only from some people in the complex because some of the people are in the U.S. illegally, and so they didn't want to cooperate with police. Quote, "I'm here to tell you right now, immigration status on the case, it's neither here nor there. The important thing right now is solving this case and getting the community safe." Early Friday afternoon, August 18th, Pasadena police identified 18-year-old Juan Carlos Garcia Rodriguez from Guatemala as a person of interest. Police said that Juan Carlos was living at the apartment complex where Maria had been found, but since she had died, he had left. Now, they're not saying if he left like the day she died or something like that. It's just since this had happened, he had left. And it seems like he's living in Louisiana. The Harris County District Attorney's Office issued a warrant for his arrest, and he's currently in custody in Louisiana waiting for extradition back to Texas. Once in Texas, he will face charges of capital murder in connection with Maria's death. But it's unknown if he does have an attorney. Now, based on the ending of this, I'm kind of like, why is he facing capital murder charges? Do you have evidence that it was his? The DNA match? Because the ending of this article says, quote, "Whoever saw something just after 10 a.m. on Saturday at that particular apartment, we're asking them to come forward with the information they might have. Anyone with information on the homicide case is asked to contact Detective M. Quintanilla at 713-475-7803, 713-475-7803, or Detective S. Mata, M-A-T-A, at 713-475-7878, 713-475-7878. And also, Crime Stoppers of Houston is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest in this case. So this is why I'm like, okay, so why was Juan Carlos arrested and he's going to be charged with capital murder? I don't understand this. Do you not have enough evidence against him for this to stick, or what? This is what I don't understand. And anyway, so that's that episode. I really feel bad for the parents because I know the father is blaming the crap out of himself. Maybe it was an issue at work that he couldn't go. Me personally, like I said, I'm a crazy mom. Nothing stopping me from going back. It would have to be like traffic or something like I physically can't go. Not that somebody's saying, hey, you can't leave. If you leave, you're fired, whatever. I'll be homeless, but my child will be with me. And like I said, I am not bashing the father, not blaming the father. Everybody's situation is different. I'm only speaking behind a mic and reading an article, so I don't know his situation. Not blaming the father. So that's that rant. I really feel sorry for the parents. Really, I can't even imagine the pain that they're going through. So yesterday I brought you an article about a mother who helped her son plan the murder of the child, and literally what it was she knew what he was going to do. She had an idea of what he was going to do, and she didn't care. She didn't stop it. She didn't call police, nothing. But go back and listen to that rant from yesterday. However, the update from that is that this man learned that he had an STD before he allegedly killed the mother. So what happened was earlier that day, before he shot the mother, he learned that he had contracted an STD. And you can basically see that in the text messages, which now you know I posted the text messages without reading them. I kind of read the top, but it was like, is that kind of like, teenage texts that I have to sit down and really focus on. So I was just like, okay, I'm not reading this. I posted text and then, I should have read the text, huh? I showed it to my daughter and she was like, oh no, I understand this. Ugh, I'm old. So anyways, in the text messages, he's talking to his mom and he's referencing the fact that he thinks that Brooklyn gave him an STD. And also remember that I said like little things in the case. Well, I don't want to say little things. Some things in the case was redacted. Apparently, when they originally put out that story, they had redacted that, the STD part about it. So part of the part of the text that I guess referenced the STD, I try to read it. I don't read this. So quote, she ain't do none but cost me money and give me a redacted. I don't know what that was supposed to be. I'm fin just shoot her. I know I hate that for, and then their daughter's name. And what is buh? B-U-H. Like I said, I can't take it. IDGAF. I know what that means. I'm just not reading it. And then his mother wrote, okay, I'll call you and tell you MF. If you want to go to jail, I'll tell you when we get close. But if you don't, come kill her. You a MF BITCH. Wow. So I wanted to give that update. That I guess he did this because he figured she gave him an STD. No proof, by the way. He just figured she gave him an STD and didn't ask her, hey, I have an STD. Maybe I got it from you. Can you, I don't know, go take an STD test, see if you're clean. Maybe we need to talk about some things. Are you cheating on me? If you are, I'm just going to leave you. I want partial custody of our daughter. I mean, logic. No, he was like, I got an STD. I'm going to kill her. Oh, stupidity. And you don't even know where you got it from. You, if allegedly, and I'm not saying he was, if he was having sex with somebody else, he could have been the one to get it. Or didn't say what kind of STD if it was herpes, for instance, he could have gotten that years ago before he even knew her. But, be irrational and just blame her. No proof to it. And your solution was to leave your daughter without a mother and a father because now you're in jail or going to jail and the grandmother's going to jail. So yeah, leave your daughter without anybody to take care of her. That makes all the sense. All the sense because you got an STD, which depending on the type of STD would have just needed penicillin and your dumbass would have been okay. Ugh. Now, don't go yet. I know these are usually short, but I found this article that I had to read to y'all. Okay, y'all. If you're standing, sit. If you're sitting, stand. If you're looking, close your eyes. If you're driving, stop. Not in the middle of the road, pull over. If you're not driving, start driving. All right. Listen to this headline. A British Airways pilot has been fired after snorting cocaine off of a topless woman and then trying to fly a passenger plane back to London. I mean, the headline has everything. I could stop reading after the headline. Like, what in the crap is going on here? This comes from barstoolsports.com. A British Airways pilot has been sacked after reports he snorted cocaine off of a topless woman before trying to fly a passenger plane back to London. Married pilot Mike Beaton boasted about his antics to a stewardess who raised the alarm. This is what they told. This came from the Sun newspaper. The father of one from Devon has been due to fly from Johannesburg, South Africa to London. He was instead flown to Heathrow as a passenger the next day when he tested positive for drug use. In a statement to Sky News, BA confirmed the pilot is no longer employed by the airline. In text to his stewardess colleague, the disgraced pilot described partying with two local men, a female Welsh holidaymaker, and a young Spanish woman. He said the group met at a nightclub before heading back to one of the men's flats where the Class A drugs were apparently produced. Quote, I've lost my shirt somewhere and one of the local lads produced a plate with a few lines of coke. This is one of the text messages that he sent the stewardess. Quote, so then there's a debate about whose chest is the best to do a bump off of. And then, in my own words, yeah, don't worry. I'm going to smoke this coke and then tomorrow I'm going to fly us all home from South Africa to England. I'll be fine. So anyway, you okay? Don't tell anybody. I'll see you tomorrow at work. All right. What? And he was probably like, oh, did you tell on me, you narc? I told you I was going to get you home safely. Oh my God. I can't. I saw this and I had to read this to you. And I kind of wanted to put it at the end of this because the first story was such a sad story that I wanted to end it with a laugh. So you're not ending your day on a sad note. But I could have just stopped at the headlines, like I said. British Airways pilot has been, well, I guess ex-pilot has been fired after snorting cocaine off a topless woman and then trying to fly the plane back home. I guess I was going to say, I don't know what he's thinking, but I guess he wasn't thinking. He was just like, party, yeah! I'll get us back home safely tomorrow. Don't tell anybody. Shh. Anyways, that's it for Ky Rants today. Let me know what you think about both these cases, and I'll see you in the next Ky Rants. Bye. Editing Ky here. I found some new information on the case of the 11-year-old girl. I made this into a separate podcast episode, but for y'all, I'm just editing it into here. Let's get into it. Hey, lambs. I know it's the same day, but I had to come and tell you this. So I don't know how I missed this. When I first searched that story about the 11-year-old girl whose father found her dead body under her bed, for some reason, the update didn't pop up, but the update came like August 25th. Today, I was searching for Juan Carlos's name to find his picture, and all these updates popped up on what was going on with him. So I made sure I did a deep dive this time, and the latest update I'm finding is on October 24th from Fox News. So this is the update, and it actually answers a lot of questions that didn't get answered before. So I don't know what happened with the initial story that I read, but okay. So this is what's going on. So first of all, Juan Carlos Garcia Rodriguez, he's 18. And the reason why they arrested him, because in the previous story it just said they arrested him, we need more information. And I literally read to you what it said. So he's actually in Houston now. He was charged with capital murder. He was denied bail. And this, when they picked him up, it was because, let me read this to you. Quote, this is from Fox News. Like I said, source will be in the show notes below. Quote, according to court documents on the morning of the murder, Maria's father, Carmelo, heard the male suspect in the stairwell on the phone when he left for work. And at that time, Maria was taking out the trash, and she told her dad that it was the long-haired neighbor. So he kind of knew who it was. Then he got that message from his daughter saying that somebody was banging on the door. And it looks like he immediately sent his family to look for her. So it's not that he waited till his lunchtime. He sent his family to look for her when that banging came on the door. I think as soon as he got the message. Maybe he didn't get the message right away. But as soon as he got the message, it looks like he sent the family to look for her. Then when he came home around 2:30 p.m., that's when he found Maria's body. And it says she had blunt force trauma to her head and neck area. Then he found a silver key on the floor. And when police came and spoke to the neighbors, the roommates of the suspect said that he had a new job and they were moving out, but he refused to give them the key back. So they had changed the locks on the door. And so when police were checking the key, the roommates gave him the old lock and, unlocked it, and it matched the lock. So he turned himself into police, and he said that day he'd been drinking all night, all into the early hours of the morning. And he said he didn't do anything. Then he changed his story. Sorry, you're hearing my phone because I just came on here to record real quick for you. So he said initially he didn't do anything. I'm not involved in this. I don't know what happened to her. Then he changed his story and said, okay, yeah, I'm involved. I did it. It was 2 black guys who held me at gunpoint and forced me to commit the SA. But that was false as well. So, and with his initial story, when he said he wasn't at the crime scene, he said he was with friends. He asked his friends to back him up. His friends were like, He wasn't with us, officer. Nope, no way. I'm not getting in trouble for you. So then that's when he turned to, okay, I was there and the two black guys held me at gunpoint and forced me to do this to this little girl and disappeared into the night. And, I don't even know where they came from. And also the other thing is his apartment is the only one that shares the stairwell with Maria's. So maybe he thought like he was really drunk and he thought he was going into his own apartment. That's why he was banging, because the door was locked. But as far as everything else that he did, there's no excuse for that. Who knows why? And now he's blaming two people. Oh, I did this because I was held at gunpoint. Just come on. But I apologize. That is the update, and that answers a lot of questions that I had, and I'm pretty sure you had when you listened to the episode that just came out like an hour ago. And they did get his DNA, and they did send it off for testing. I don't know the update of that, but they did get his DNA, but it was all due to that key. That key was the key to solving the case. And Carmelo said in a statement that he hopes that Juan Carlos gets, quote, "may he be burdened with the full weight of the law for what he has done to my daughter," end quote. And I agree. So anyways, that's the update. I wanted to rush on here and bring that to y'all before even the day was over. So I knew there are some sleuths that would have come out and been like, "No, Ky, there's an update. That's not what happened." And look, trust me, I appreciate it. I am not making fun of you. I appreciate when I get corrected with factual, constructive corrections. I completely appreciate that. I'm only human. I'm not going to get everything right. I am not perfect, and I'm not going to pretend I am. So when you give me constructive criticism and constructive corrections, I 100% appreciate that from you. So anyways, that was the update. Sorry that it's in a whole different episode. I'm really happy they caught the person, and I'm really happy that I found out why Juan Carlos was the main suspect, I want to say. All right. So if you have anything to add, maybe you have an update to this that's even more recent than August 24th, please let me know. I'll see y'all in the next rant. Bye.